good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the premiere of our newest episode in the Build Your Path series, Careers to Power Your Community. I'm Jen Deweese, president of the Maryland Center for Construction Education and Innovation, or MCCEI. Today's episode highlights the Electrical Alliance's work on the Purple Line, one of Maryland's most impactful transportation projects yet. It also shines a light on the electricians, linemen, and apprentices powering our communities every day. Before we begin, I want to thank our partners, IBEW Local 26 and NECA DC, or also known as the Electrical Alliance, whose support makes these videos possible. Their leadership in workforce development and commitment to strengthening Maryland's skilled trades are essential to this work. I'm also joined live today by David Paula from IBEW Local 26. Hi, David, and the Electrical Alliance.
Hi, thanks so much for having us.
Yes. After this video, we're going to share a short pre-recorded message from John Carlin, who served as a foreman on the Purple Line and is featured in our video. He couldn't join us live today, but he recorded a few thoughts to share with you. But for now, let's get right to it. And here's our newest Build Your Path episode, Careers to Power Your Community.
The Purple Line is one of Maryland's largest and most impactful transportation projects. A new 16-mile light rail line that will connect communities from Bethesda to New Carrollton with 21 new stations. Designed to link major job centers, universities, and neighborhoods, the Purple Line will transform how people live, work, and travel across the region. Behind every mile of new track is a dedicated team from the Electrical Alliance, working together to power this vision of progress and ensure that every connection is safe, efficient, and built to last.
My name is John Carlin. I work for C3M Power Systems. I'm working on the Purple Line system, doing the overhead catenary work. I've been doing this for 30 years now, and I'm a third-generation electrician. This career is pretty unique because being an electrician, or the trades in general, allows you to see how your work directly impacts your community. When you get done the project, you can actually see your progress and how it helps out. My grandfather did it, my father did it, now I'm doing it. As a foreman on the Purple Line, you got a lot of moving parts. You got to make sure your guys have all their safety equipment, make sure all the trucks are loaded with the proper materials, and then we'll go out and set poles, make sure everything's safed off and good to go. I remember when I started, it was really tough to get into this electrical industry. You almost had to know somebody to get in. Now, a lot of guys when they start out are lucky enough to go through our 5-year apprenticeship, which is nice because you get paid while you're learning.
How y'all doing? My name is Trayvon Thomas. I'm a journeyman lineman apprentice. I work with City General Electrical Company. Just 2 years ago, I didn't know nothing. I didn't know how to operate a forklift. I didn't know anything. Basically, an apprentice is entry level, so you're just getting paid as you learn and work your way up. To get where I am now and working on the Purple Line, first I started out in a program called DCIA. Basically, it stands for DC Infrastructure Academy. It was like a small detailed part of what type of lineman work you would do. And from there, I came here and started out in a prefab shop where we at right now. And now I could run a mobile crane. So just the opportunity and the growth in it, it just grew me to be better.
This video is made possible by the Electrical Alliance. Their workforce is building more than infrastructure. They're building opportunity. Skilled electricians, linemen, and apprentices are learning, earning, and leading right here in the communities they call home. Projects like the Purple Line open doors for the next generation of workers to gain real-world experience, developing technical and leadership skills that will serve them throughout their careers. With 21 new stations connecting neighborhoods, schools, and business districts, the Purple Line is more than a transit project. It strengthens local economies, creates pathways to careers in the skilled trades, and unites communities across the region.
So in the field now, I could professionally rig up poles. I could operate a scissor lift, all types of operating systems out there, and just overcoming any obstacle that comes with it. If I was ever in a situation where I had to promote for my job, I would say it's a great opportunity. You get to work in the field you love, and what you do directly helps your community. I wish I would have got in sooner. It changed my life.
Trayvon has been a great asset to the Purple Line and to our company. That's the cool part about this industry is you got a lot of different characters from different parts of the country, different parts of the world, and we all bond together to perform the job safely.
So if you want to look into the electrical industry, become an apprentice and help build your community,
come build your path.
Build your path.
and we'll see you on the job site.
Well, there you have it, the premiere of Careers to Power Your Community. So as I mentioned, I'm now joined live by David Paula from IBEW Local 26 and the Electrical Alliance. David, thanks for being here. Let's jump right into your questions. So from the Electrical Alliance's perspective, what makes the Purple Line such a significant project for your members?
Yeah, well, first of all, that was such a great video, and thank goodness it did a lot of the work for me on explaining a lot of these things, but I think we'll go through in a little bit more detail. First, I'd just like to explain what the Electrical Alliance is. I think you mentioned it earlier, but the Electrical Alliance is a partnership between the Washington, D.C. chapter of the National Electrical Contractors Association and the IBEW, which is the Electrical Workers Union, Local 26 for the DC area. So together, you know, the IBEW, Local 26, we have over 14,000 members in the DMV. And then on the other side, NECA has over 100 signatory contractors. So we come together to, you know, advance this industry. So when we talk specifically about the Purple Line, I think our two members who are out there did it better than I ever could, but I'll attempt to piggyback off of them. First off, this is a huge project. It represents billions of dollars invested in our communities, probably about 700 construction workers actively taking part in the project right now. Wow. Many of those are electricians. For Electrical Alliance members, this project is not only a great job opportunity, but it's also a classroom and an important way to give back to the community. All of these areas are being connected by a project that is really in need of reliable public transportation. So this infrastructure can connect them to the greater region, moving people, ideas, and money around to areas that they might not have otherwise been able to. Many of the workers who I spoke with on the job site discussed riding the metro growing up and how it connected them to better work and educational opportunities. You know, any construction worker will tell you that the number one thing when they finish up a project, and one of the things that they think about, is the pride that they have from seeing things that they built out in the community. And when it's a project like the Purple Line, it's something you can be extra proud of, because it's a project that not only they get to see the result of their work, but also all the interconnectedness of the communities and the opportunities that they're bringing to so many. So it has a great, you know, social impact as well.
And you did a great job, David. This is precisely why we wanted to feature the Purple Line on our video. So I echo everything you said. The video itself does highlight how electricians, linemen, and apprenticeships are learning, earning, and leading. So how does the Electrical Alliance structure these opportunities on large-scale projects like this?
So the apprentices and the other prospective journeymen, we have a lot of different classifications working on projects like these, are lucky enough to work on, WMATA transit projects, big metro projects like this. It's a tremendous opportunity to learn specific types of electrical systems and skills that they might not otherwise get. When you have something that's stretched out over, 19 miles or something, you learn a lot about how to take the same electrical systems and stretch them out. There's a lot of cable pulling involved for miles on transit, which the guys may not like, but hey, learning that endurance is important, and it's going to be a skill that you're going to use for the rest of your career. That's one of the reasons why we rotate our apprentices through different contractors each year of their 4-year apprenticeship. It's so that each different year they can work with a different contractor or learn a different type of skills, but not everybody gets to work on big transit projects. So this is really exciting for them.
That's awesome. And we've been working together for years. I did not know that. I did not know that apprentices moved companies each year. That's brilliant. So, piggyback off that, workforce development is a huge part of our series. So what skills do apprentices gain on a complex transit project like this that they might not get elsewhere? There's one's lucky enough to be on it.
Yeah, so it was something that was cool about the video earlier. They talked about a bunch of the different skills whether it was John and working on the lineman work and the overhead lines, or Trayvon and a lot of the different things that he's done, and learned about, and all of the certifications and things like forklifts and whatnot. Because really with big projects, it's not just the people on the field, out in the field on the job site building the transit lines. It's also all of the behind the scenes work. And when he said prefab, I think that's an important word to focus in on. Prefabrication facility. It's basically electrical component manufacturing in a big warehouse. This is where we start a lot of folks, either when they're like first apprentices or when we're easing them into the industry, to learn about how to do some of the basics in the electrical field. So that's cool to hear that that's where he came from. But these projects really require the blending of the three major facets of the electrical industry. So there are the linemen, like John, working on the high voltage lines, mostly overhead, which powered the trains themselves. Underneath all of that, with the electrical needs of all of the stations and everything in between with the signal, science gates, things of that nature, that's all being done by wiremen. And I think it's important to say these are two different apprenticeships that you go through in two different types of journeymen. So high voltage, mostly with like power distribution and power generation facilities and stuff like that. And then the wiremen, who are mostly constructing buildings and structures, and doing the internal wiring of those systems. And then lastly, there are the actually technology services technicians, which I know is what we did our video on last year with MCCEI. So go check that out if you haven't seen it. Anyone seeing this, if you want to learn more about that. But those are the folks who were actually running out all of the data infrastructure, data cabling, and things like that, that makes everything else talk to each other.
Thanks for the plug for the YouTube series there, David. So one thing that stands out in the film is the emphasis on like reliability and safety. From the Alliance's viewpoint, what practices ensure high safety standards when working on a project of this size and complexity, especially with those high voltage lines?
Yeah, so communication is always the most important thing when it comes to high safety standards. All of our electricians receive various layers of safety training, starting with the basics OSHA certifications, depending on what classification and what responsibilities you have on the job, starting from the OSHA 10-hour all the way up. And we do all of those trainings in-house, generally before you're out on a job site, obviously. And then every job site has specialized safety trainings, usually led by the general contractors, created in coordination with whoever the client is. This one specifically, WMATA, so it'll be really focused on all of the specifics of everything from watching out and making sure that you're not connecting the overhead lines to each other accidentally, to how to walk between the rails themselves as you're traveling from workstation to workstation. On top of all of those baseline safety standards, from OSHA to then the specific onboarding that you get, when you get to a job site, you go through the training, you get like a sticker saying that you're good to be there, that you've been through all of that. Then there's also specific certifications, and Trayvon talked about it in the video earlier, things like scissor lifts, heavy machinery. Anytime that you need to use a tool that could be considered dangerous, you get training and certification in those things, right? And get certificates saying that you're allowed to use them. And with this one, there's a lot of different types of harnesses. With the Purple Line, there are people going down underground into like sewers and things like that, and there are people going up. A lot of folks in cherry pickers. So that's a really important one on a project like this.
That's wonderful, because while the construction industry uses apprenticeships more than any other industry, not everyone in the construction industry has been through an apprenticeship. And I think that that's probably why we have some of the accidents that we have and whatnot, because people aren't being properly trained. So I love that is an important aspect of this, so that we're not only delivering projects on time, but that we're making sure people go home the way they showed up, or even better. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So projects like the Purple Line also attract new talent. What message do you think this video sends to young people or career changers that are considering the electrical trade?
Yeah, the message that we always want to get across is that working in the skilled trades is a fantastic pathway for any young person. If you want a stable career that's reliable, with great pay and benefits, where you can also get the chance to use state-of-the-art technology. You can do all those things while also still giving back to your community with projects like this, the Purple Line, and any type of public work.
It's wonderful. There really is no industry like the construction industry that impacts every aspect of our daily lives. That's awesome. So you guys at the Electrical Alliance have been a strong supporter of MCCI for years now. Why are partnerships like this so important for strengthening the construction workforce pipeline?
Yeah, well, we both the Electrical Alliance and MCCI, we both exist to get people into the construction industry, whether it's with us with the electricians, or with you with all of the trades, right? I think it's important that we work together to advance the industry as a whole. It's a no-brainer for us to work with y'all, because we always appreciate the chance to give back to kids, and let them, give them access to the rewarding industry that is construction. And you all lead in that way here in Maryland, and help give us that opportunity to let them know about the great careers that we offer. So we really appreciate that.
Thanks, David. We are so grateful for your partnership on this work as well. And then as last question for you, as we look ahead, what do you see as the biggest opportunities for electricians in Maryland over the next decade? There's so much infrastructure and clean energy work underway, data centers, whatever.
Yeah, well, you nailed it, right? So in Maryland, across the entire country, I should say, there's a need for hundreds of thousands of electricians over the next 10 decades. And one of the nice things about the skilled trades and working with a union employer like the IBEW and our contractors is you also get to travel. So that reliable nature that I talked about is like you could work anywhere, but don't worry, you won't have to go anywhere, because in Maryland, DC, and Virginia, I think we need something like 80,000 electrical workers of different classifications over the next 15 to 20 years. So we will have work here. Now, we're building a lot of different stuff. We're building some really cool stuff in Maryland. We're doing some improvements over at some of the nuclear facilities. We've got big, incredible, cool new technologies coming out around small modular nuclear reactors and building those facilities and factories like here in Maryland, but also all the solar work that you talked about, the infrastructure for the solar work, electrical vehicle charging stations, going into old buildings, and making sure that we're reducing their carbon footprints by putting in heat pumps and things of that nature, smart buildings, making sure that that we're doing everything we can to prepare, for the new way of life. And of course, data centers. Right now, there are data centers popping up. There's a lot in Northern Virginia, but there's some coming to Maryland too. And then, of course, always as you go out 270, there's going to be a robust health industry where you get to really install some cool technology, building new pharmaceuticals and different sites where they're advancing new medical systems. So there's a lot. And then, we got, I know, shouldn't say this in Maryland, but we got a stadium coming in DC, and some other things there as well. So yeah, we're really excited. The future is bright. And if you have any inkling of becoming an electrician, please reach out to us at the Electrical Alliance, and we'll be happy to plug you into our industry.
Oh, we have a question here. If someone's interested in getting started in an apprenticeship, what would be the good first step? And additionally, if there's anything you wish folks knew before starting an apprenticeship.
Yeah, so I think the best place to start is by going to our training school's website, which is jatc26.org. You can read about all of our apprenticeship programs, create a trade school account, and then start filling out your application. So that's the best way to learn how to get into the apprenticeship and find out which program is right for you. What are some things that people should know about going in? If you're in high school and you want to get into the skilled trades, make sure that you work hard in Algebra 1 and 2, because you'd be surprised how much math there is. But also you got to be able to solve word problems, and that communication on safety is really important too. So reading and comprehension. So don't slack off. I know you want to come make 6 figures, but you know, you gotta still finish high school strong and then come talk to me.
For sure. Yeah. And then if anybody is watching this and you're like, maybe an electrician is not for me, but this idea of an apprenticeship or career in construction, the Maryland Department of Labor has a full list of every registered apprenticeship in the state of Maryland on their website as well. And if you go to the Maryland, it's macworkforce.org, you can find the connection to that as well on there. All right, so now we're going to share a brief message from John Carlin. He was in our video and served as a foreman on the Purple Line. As we mentioned, he couldn't be here live today because he's working on a really time-sensitive job, but he recorded a short reflection about what he hopes this message will be for future electricians.
I'm sorry I can't be there for the video premiere. It was a pleasure to be featured in this video with Trayvon, sharing our stories and talking about the Purple Line project and its impact on our community. I love my job, and I hope this video inspires young adults who are exploring career options to consider the possibilities of working as an electrician.
Huge thank you to John for sharing that message, and to David for joining me live today. Once again, thank you to IBEW Local 26, NECA DC, and the entire Electrical Alliance for sponsoring this Build Your Path episode and for your continued investment in growing Maryland's workforce. If you watching would like to get involved with MCCI or explore sponsoring a future Build Your Path video, we'll drop a link to our sponsorship form in the comments. There are countless ways to explore the next generation entering the skilled trades. A big thank you as well to the Alisana Collective for producing this beautiful film for us. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss our next premiere. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Build Your Path.